Picture this. Don Johnson strolls onto the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live in June 2025, and jaws drop. Not because of his fame, but because the 75-year-old Miami Vice icon looks like he's cracked the code on aging. His face is chiseled, his skin smoother than a polished stone. Fans are floored. Cosmetic surgery gurus start dissecting his appearance, pointing to high-end procedures most could only dream of affording. But Johnson? He's tight-lipped, guarding his secrets like a vault. The change is so striking that people are whispering he's practically a stranger to his own reflection. So what's the deal with his face? Don Johnson came into the world on December 15, 1949, in his grandmother's modest home in the sleepy hamlet of Flat Creek, Missouri. His mom, Nell, was barely 16, and his dad, Freddie, just 19. Kids raising a kid with little cash and less support. Growing up, Don's life was less about nurturing and more about scraping by. By his teens, his mom was still in her early 30s, feeling more like a sibling than a parent, which brought its own mess of complications. Home was a whirlwind of tension, with no real structure to hold it together. At 6, in 1955, the family chased a better life to Wichita, Kansas, where his dad landed a gig at Boeing Aircraft. It sounded promising, but the paycheck didn't stretch far. They crammed into a tiny company house, 6 people sharing one bathroom, always one bill away from disaster. Don later said that poverty branded him with a fear of losing it all, a shadow that lingered even when fame rolled in. It wasn't just money they lacked. It shaped how he saw security, grit, and what it meant to make it. At 12, things took a darker turn. Don lost his virginity to his 16-year-old babysitter in a situation that was far from healthy, amid a home crumbling under his parents' constant fights and looming divorce. Supervision was non-existent, leaving room for things that never should have happened. He's spoken about it in interviews, hinting at the scars it left. Home wasn't just chaotic, it was a battleground. His dad's explosive temper meant regular beatings for Don and his siblings, turning the house into a place of dread where anything could set off a storm. Don called his childhood brutally abusive, not just for the physical blows, but for the crushing loneliness of feeling abandoned, even with family around. After the divorce, his mom struggled to manage him, and by 13, Don's rebellion landed him in juvenile court. The judge sent him back to his abusive father, a decision that screamed desperation. Yet, amid the darkness, there were glimmers that shaped him. His mom's beauty salon became an unlikely school where Don soaked up lessons on how people present themselves, how looks could shift perceptions. Those early insights on style stuck, later fueling his ability to transform for the screen. In 1967, a fluke changed everything. Kicked off the football team for dozing in class, Don joined a drama class to make up credits. Playing Tony in West Side Story, he found something new, a stage that drowned out his chaos and an audience that gave him the approval he never got at home. His teacher saw potential and nudged him toward a summer theater program at the University of Kansas, where he snagged a partial scholarship that later became full. That stage was his escape hatch. Back with his dad in Missouri, something unexpected happened. The same man who'd hurt him taught him to hunt and fish, moments of quiet that gave Don a rare sense of purpose. Meanwhile, he worked as a butcher's apprentice and shoe salesman to help keep the family afloat, forging a work ethic that would carry him through Hollywood's grind. After high school, he took a full drama scholarship to the University of Kansas, but dropped out in his second year, swept up in a romance with a 29-year-old acting teacher. At 19, with no safety net, he moved to San Francisco and joined the American Conservatory Theater, betting everything on a dream. In 1969, at 20, Don starred in Fortune and Men's Eyes, an off-Broadway play in LA with a shocking prison assault scene that rattled audiences. Critics called it raw and unsettling, and though it didn't make him a star, it put him on the radar. The play's impact even sparked an advocacy group for ex-prisoners. In 1970, He debuted in The Magic Garden of Stanley's Sweetheart, playing a college dropout turned adult film producer in New York's gritty underbelly. Cast with Andy Warhol's help, the film tanked, but Don's willingness to dive into risky roles shone through. In 1971, he starred in Zachariah, a bizarre rock western with bleach blonde hair and a scene rolling in horse manure, another flop, but he pressed on. In 1973, The Harad Experiment saw him nude in a film about sexual freedom, alongside a 15-year-old Melanie Griffith, who'd later become his wife. It made money but didn't boost his career. Then, in 1975, A Boy and His Dog, a dark, post-apocalyptic tale where he played a teen talking telepathically to his dog, finally turned heads, earning a Hugo Award and a Golden Scroll for Don. His pain-fueled talent had found its mark. Everything shifted in 1984 with Miami Vice. As Detective Sonny Crockett, Don bleached his dark hair, scorching his scalp to fit the role. The show's wardrobe, pastel tees under $50,000 Armani and Versace suits, set trends, with sockless loafers becoming iconic after a fitting mishap. 6 months after the September 16, 1984 premiere, pastel suit sales tripled, and Ray-Ban Wayfarer sales skyrocketed 2,000%, sparking a billion-dollar fashion wave. The show's $1.3 million pilot used 47 camera angles, steady cams, and $200,000 equipment, with $10,000 weekly music budgets for hits from Phil Collins and others. With 14 costume changes and 3 Ferraris, it drew 15 million viewers, NBC's biggest 1984 premiere. In 1985, the episode Evan showcased Don's depth, drawing on his father's death at 12 to portray Crockett's grief, crying 8 times on camera in a $1.8 million black and white flashback. Fans sent 847 letters in a week, and Don won a 1986 Golden Globe, his 37-second speech thanking his late father becoming a tearful TV moment. Miami Vice boosted Miami's economy by $4 million yearly, filming in 23 neighborhoods with $3,000 daily police protection. Don learned Spanish for scenes, and the show's 30 million weekly viewers drove $90 million in tourism. But tensions flared in 1987 when co-star Philip Michael Thomas, earning $25,000 per episode to Don's $75,000, halted filming for 3 days over pay disputes, costing NBC $450,000. Thomas got a raise to $50,000, but their rift led to separately filmed scenes. In 1986, Don's album Heartbeat went gold, its title track hitting number 5 on Billboard with guests like Ron Wood and Willie Nelson. In 1988, Sweetheart's Dance with Susan Sarandon showed his dramatic chops, though it flopped at $3 million against a $9 million budget. In 1990, The Hot Spot, a steamy thriller, became a cult hit despite poor box office. Don also directed Miami Vice's Golden Triangle, weaving in his Wichita roots. His 1986 Golden Globe speech nodded to Melanie Griffith, their turbulent romance a media fixation. Don's personal life was a roller coaster. At 18, he married a dancer for 2 months. In 1973, another marriage lasted days. His most troubling tie was with Melanie Griffith, starting when she was 14 and he was 22, living together at 15 and marrying at her 18th birthday in 1976, only to split in 6 months. They remarried in 1989, had Dakota Johnson, but split in 1996 amid Don's cocaine, quaaludes, and infidelity. From 1981 to 1985, he had a son, Jesse, with Patty Darbanville, but Miami Vice's demands strained them. In 1999, Don married Kelly Flager, a Montessori teacher, and they had 3 kids: Atherton, 1999, Jasper, 2002, and Deacon, 2006. Kelly's stability grounded him, their marriage lasting over 25 years. In 2002, a wild scandal hit. German-Swiss Border Patrol found $8 billion in shady financial papers in Don's briefcase. He claimed they were for a film, and no charges stuck, but the headlines spooked Hollywood. Nash Bridges, 1996 to 2001, kept him afloat, with Don starring, producing, and later winning $19 million in a 2013 profit lawsuit. In 2003, he owed nearly $1 million to City National Bank, filing bankruptcy in 2004 to save his Woody Creek Ranch. A mystery payment, possibly from selling art or cars, saved it, but his riches to rags story dominated headlines. His 1989 album flopped, and roles like 1990 SIX's Tin Cup, $75 million globally, couldn't fix his overspending on homes, cars, and ex-wives. In 2014, From Dusk Till Dawn's Sheriff Earl McGraw role gave him grit, and 2019's Knives Out, $312 million, made him a standout as Richard Drysdale, returning for Glass Onion. In 2022, Book Club, the next chapter showed a softer side, and 2024's Rebel Ridge cast him as a corrupt chief, earning Critics' Choice nods. In Dr. Odyssey, 2024, he played a suave cruise ship captain, anchoring ABC and Hulu's hit. Then, in June 2025, his Kimmel appearance sparked buzz. At 75, his taut jaw and flawless skin screamed surgery. Experts guessed a $50,000 plus facelift or fillers, though Don stayed silent. Social media exploded with Don Johnson, 75, but ageless, posts comparing him with Kelly, his wife of 26 years. Some called him stunning, others unrecognizable. One thing's clear, Don Johnson still got everyone talking.